At long last, the wait is finally over. So let's dive into our first full look at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland, up next. Hi there Waltoneers, I'm Jack and this is DSNY Newscast, and you know what? Let's just get straight into it for today. On May 25th, 1977, the cinematic world changed forever when Star Wars was released into theatres. And ever since that day, fans around the world have always dreamed about stepping foot into a galaxy far, far away. And now, 42 years later, that dream has finally come true, with the opening of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. However, this has been a long road to get here, as when Disney acquired Lucasfilm on October 30th, 2012, speculation began and anticipation built for how Disney would bring Star Wars to life within the Disney parks. And then at D23 Expo in 2015, it was officially announced that not one, but two Star Wars themed lands would be coming to both Disneyland and Walt Disney World. Then jumped to hyperspace through 4 years of design, development and construction, which we've been covering at every step along the way here on DSNY Newscast. And we are now finally ready to live our Star Wars adventure and be transported to the planet of Batuu. So let's start off with the actual land itself. As you can see here in this amazing footage courtesy of friend of DSNY Newscast, Big Fat Panda, which by the way I highly recommend going ahead and checking out all of these videos in full down below with all of the links in the description box to Big Fat Panda's videos, so you can watch the entirety of this footage in all of its glory. But the first thing that has to be said here is that Walt Disney Imagineering have really raised the bar to a whole new level when it comes to theme park entertainment, as everywhere you look within Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, every single thing really seems as if it has been painstakingly thought about, to the point where the layers of details within Black Spire Outpost will probably leave us all pondering the ancient history of this galactic planet. And that is clearly what Imagineering have aimed for and have truly succeeded in creating. As much has been said in previews of the land about the rockwork and the petrified trees that form the Black Spires of Galaxy's Edge, as the sheer scale of 135 feet for the tallest is enough to leave you in awe. However, it's the overwhelming realism of every aspect, from the aging and distressing on the buildings to the intricate paved stones and even indents in the ground from R2 series droids, that make this entire land feel as if it has always been here all along, waiting to be discovered. But if we compare this with what we saw back in 2017 at D23 Expo with the Star Wars land model, it's safe to say that Disney really have delivered on their promise, as you can see in this comparison between the two pieces of footage. And one of the things I love about the land is the multi-levels that allow for many more photo opportunities with the iconic Millennium Falcon in the background. But one thing that has to be mentioned here, and that is of course this is Disney's official promotional footage, and thus the land will probably never look as empty as this. Although it's still nice to get an idea of just how much space Imagineering have allocated for, as that was one of the major critiques of Pandora and Toy Story Land in Walt Disney World. And regarding the fence in front of a true-to-life scale replica of the Millennium Falcon, that is the centerpiece of the entire land, you must remember that it not only serves the purpose of protecting the Millennium Falcon, but as we can see all around Black Spire Outpost with the X-Wings and the TIE Echelon, as fences and barriers have been subtly constructed, as these are actual show spaces for character sightings. As we can see here in this really cool moment of Kylo Ren force choking a First Order officer. So most likely we'll see activity take place underneath the Millennium Falcon eventually. However, with all of the influx of guests, I would imagine that this will debut at a later stage, as so many people will just be happy with taking their photo with the Falcon by itself. But Star Wars Galaxy's Edge is not going to have traditional character meet and greet opportunities, but instead that will take place outside of the land, as instead it will have atmospheric entertainment, such as stormtroopers roaming around on the ground and up above as well, sightings of Chewie and Rey in the Resistance Forest, and of course Kylo Ren arriving within his TIE Echelon. And in my opinion, this concept by Walt Disney Imagineering to have atmospheric entertainment is by far one of the coolest aspects of Galaxy's Edge, as it will make it feel like a living and breathing place that has always existed. But now let's get to the Millennium Falcon Smugglers Run attraction in action, as this is the first of the two attractions to open in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, with Rise of Resistance set to open later this year, so stay tuned to DSNY Newscast for all of that. But now let's begin, as once you enter under this galactic traffic control tower, you will start by winding around the back of the Falcon, and then you'll enter the show building where you'll go up and down gangways and ramps until you're on the second level, getting an incredible view of the Millennium Falcon outside and the rest of the Black Spire outpost. However, the queue does share a lot of similarities to that of Star Tours, but it also has a feel of Flight of Passage as well, with the winding pathways and unique views of the land from within the queue. But then you come to the pre-show room, and this is where you'll meet Hondo Ohnaka, and this is probably one of the best pre-show experiences in all of Disney, up there with Haunted Mansion, Tower of Terror and Mission Breakout, but it will surely be blown away by Rise of Resistance once it opens later this year. And as we previously commented in the past, this A1000 series animatronic is incredible, with lifelike movements and fluidity that are just far away enough to make you think twice about it being an animatronic and not an actor. But then you are ushered into the hold area for the Falcon and assigned flight crew cards that indicate the role that you have and the time for when you are called up. And this is obviously your chance to explore and take as many photos as you can before getting your chance to walk down the iconic hallway and board the cockpit to fly the fastest hunk of junk in the galaxy. And despite the overall ride time being just shy of 6 minutes of flight time, the big thing to take into account here is that you really are flying the Millennium Falcon, and it will react to your every single move. So no ride experience will ever be like any other, as you have complete control within those 6 minutes. Although there are some safeguards that come into action to help you avoid disastrously crashing the Millennium Falcon in the first minute and ruining the experience for the rest of your group, after waiting in line for many hours. Now, I've seen that some have compared this to looking a lot like a game console, and yes, it has many of the core principles as it is powered by the most powerful NVIDIA processors around, but from what I've heard, video really does not do this attraction justice, as this is something that has to be experienced in person, as watching on a screen of a video of a screen will surely flatten and mute any visually spectacular imagery. So please bear that all in mind when watching the ride footage. But overall, the Millennium Falcon seems to deliver exactly what is promised, and that is the realism and immersive environment of Mission Space with the replayability of Toy Story Mania combined with a full range of motion of Star Tours to create an extremely authentic experience. But now let's get to the Cantina, or more specifically, Ogre's Cantina, as it's just as awesome as you'd imagine it would be, with the lighting and the bubbling liquids in the containers and canisters above really adding an otherworldly presence. And despite this only being a bar setup, you can see that there is plenty of room to move around and even grab a table or an alcove that's built into the walls just like out of the movies, with this layout being very intentional by Imagineering, as so much of that original Mos Eisley Cantina's vibe came from the hive of activity that depicts a Star Wars Cantina experience. And to add to it all, DJ Rex, who is the former Captain Rex from the original Star Tours, is spinning some galactic remixes in the corner, with some colourful entertainment provided once again by Paul Rubens reprising his role. And unlike those pesky reports by unreliable sites a month or so ago, you can see that this cantina will have plenty of space. However, considering the overwhelming demand to get into Galaxy's Edge, no bar will ever be big enough. And then that brings us to Docking Bay Food and Cargo, which is extremely easy to find as it sits beneath the cargo carrier with the years of the original trilogy movies on the side. And as you can see in this footage, this features plenty of space for themed seating in between the cargo crates, as this is the main sit-down quick service restaurant that offers a huge variety of standard and vegan friendly options. But right next door to Docking Bay 7 Food and Cargo, in the adjoining building, you'll find Ronto Roasters, which is the main counter service offering, similar to that of Casey's Corner, as this specialises in delivering the Ronto wraps, turkey jerky and Mi Luron juice. However, all of this theming really wasn't to be expected for this counter service window, as the droid operating the spit roast of the Ronto meat on a pod racing engine is such a brilliant touch. And obviously elsewhere within Black Spire Outpost, you'll be able to grab a tall glass of delicious blue and green milk at the milk stand, which has these massive round glass vials filled overhead that really add to the otherworldly design. But that's not all, as Walt Disney Imagineering really have designed every inch of this land to tell as much story as possible, from the coded messages within the signage to the hidden creatures that can be found throughout, like here in this water fountain. However, one of the undeniably coolest things has got to be the merchandise locations of Galaxy's Edge, as these are not just stores, but they are truly themed experiences. So let's start off with Dok-Ondar's Den of Antiquities, which is marked by this Ithorian statue just outside, as everywhere you look inside this Den of Antiquities, there are precious artifacts and the rarest collection of galactic relics adorning the walls. And despite this location being on the pricier side, as these are of course the most coveted items in the galaxy, this is an easy walk-in experience that every guest should definitely do, as you'll come face to face and encounter Dok-Ondar sitting and standing behind his desk, counting his galactic credits. However, it's much more than just watching this incredible alien animatronic, as you are able to barter with this temperamental Ithorian through the help of an assistant, meaning that you may be able to get a deal on a rare find such as a legacy lightsaber or a holocron. But on top of all of this, there are two custom build experiences, where you can construct a droid for $99 plus tax, or hand build a lightsaber for $200 plus tax. But let's start off with a droid depot, and personally I think this looks to be one of the best experiences within the entire land, as guests are able to walk up with a basket and select from a conveyor belt filled with various BB and R2 series droid parts to create their perfect astromech droid. Then after selecting the parts, you construct it from scratch at a build station, with the help of one of Mubo's workers, where you'll use various tools hanging from above to help assemble every single piece. And then at the end you'll run a diagnostic test and bring your droid to life with the insertion of a personality chip. And the reason why I think that this is one of the coolest experiences is not only is this brilliantly themed and sort of reasonably priced for a fully operating remote controlled droid that you have designed yourself, but it's also teaching kids the empowering message that they can build the things in the world all around them. But now let's get to Savvy's workshop, which is where you can hand build a custom lightsaber, as this all takes place inside a fairly small show space, with only 14 lightsaber build stations. And the reason why I say show space is because this is definitely more of an interactive entertainment experience, but Savvy's workshop is much more of a show, as once the gatherers have taught you the ancient history of the Force, there's a really cool reveal where the lightsaber's hilt and blade have become one, and you'll receive a message from Master Yoda welcoming you to the ways of a Jedi. However, there are two other shop experiences that are definitely worth checking out, and that's the Toydarian Toymakers and the Creature Stall, as both can be found under this massive archway marketplace that leads through Toronto Roasters and Docking Bay 7 as well. But within the Toydarian Toymakers, you won't just find standard Star Wars toys, but only merchandise that can be bought within Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, as it's all been designed to look as if it's been created on other planets, although there are some plush toys of your favourite heroes from the Star Wars universe as well. And then we come to the Creature Store operated by Bina, who sells everything from Kowakian monkey lizards to writhing raftars and of course chirping porgs. But what's really awesome about all of this is that mixed in with the creatures for sale are animatronic puffer pigs, warts and sleeping loft cats that really add so much more life and realism to the store. And whilst we're talking about what can be found within the marketplace of Merchants Row, this is where you'll find Black Spire Outfitters, which is where you can gear up for your very own Star Wars adventure. But overall, I am absolutely blown away by Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, as we've been covering it for so many years here on DSNY Newscast, as we do with all of the other upcoming Disney projects as well. However, despite knowing every single detail of what this land would offer beforehand, it really has surpassed every single expectation I had, as the level of immersion, the attention to detail, and the promise of authenticity all adds up to a truly realised out-of-this-world experience. But this is only the beginning, as there is still so much left to discover about the single largest land expansion in Disney Parks history, as we're still awaiting the debut of the most advanced, ambitious, and immersive Disney attraction that they've ever created in Rise of Resistance, and of course the Star Wars Hotel coming to Walt Disney World. But for now, after seeing all of this within Galaxy's Edge, I think that there's only one thing left to say, and that's
Chewie, we're home.
But now, it's over to you Waltoneers, as clearly we're here just outside Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Walt Disney World, as it's going to be opening at the end of August on August 29th. So from today's video of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland, what are you most excited about experiencing either in Disneyland or Walt Disney World within this brand new immersive land? And don't forget to put the timestamp for where the hidden Mickey appeared somewhere within today's video, along with your suggestion or your comment to be in with a chance to win one of these official DSNY Newscast Walt Disney enamel pins. And congratulations to this Walt Disney here for winning this suggestion from a previous video where we were talking all about the Tangled, Frozen and Peter Pan themed lands coming to Tokyo Disney Sea. And so that's it for today. So go ahead and subscribe down below if you're new to this channel. Hit that notification icon so therefore that way you always receive an update when we release new videos on a Tuesday and a Thursday. And also if you've enjoyed today's video, this massive, great big mega video on Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, give this video a massive thumbs up as it really does help this channel out. And I've been Jack, you've been you, and I'll see you real soon.